Welcome back to the Troubleshooting Life podcast. I'm your host, Craig Poston, with my co-host, Jay Peters, where we talk about various topics, sharing our experiences on life and finance.
All right, so, what piece of advice do you can give someone that's expiring, in our career field?
Man, in our career field, I would say just do it. Do it. Like there's a lot of stuff in IT, and especially in IT, in the IT career field, you can do a lot of stuff from home.
Yeah.
And it costs very little to no money, right? You can, there's a lot of resources, but other than like doing courses, like do the stuff on your own stuff. Like you can, of course, make your own lab. You can get like a virtual server. You can get, virtual everything, and for little to no money, and you can do everything that they're saying. So you can follow along with people on their labs. You can, go into forums, whatever it is. But that's the beauty about IT is like, so like if I was in the medical field and I was a phlebotomist where I had to take people's blood, I'm not going to be taking my own blood every second day or every single day, right?
Yeah.
I would need to take other people's blood. I need to get their feedback. You can't necessarily do that like if you don't have money or if you're not working in that profession.
Yeah.
Right. Well, at least not legally. I don't know who's taking blood from other people, but but in IT, like I said, you can practice everything from home. Like you could do everything, almost everything from home, I want to say. But yeah, just do it. Just jump into it like head first.
Yeah. And one of the things I think I always say, I have a lab. Obviously, you see here in the studio, I got a lab for IT. So it's basically one of those things that help us grow, and it's especially in the particular thing you want to do.
Yeah.
And it also helps you catch up with the people who are already ahead of you. So if you're working with a group of people and you can tell that their skills are a lot higher, one way to catch up is to have a lab at home, research just like Jay said, and then you can just keep building on top of that.
Yeah, man.
Hey there, quick interruption. If you're listening on YouTube and don't want to miss out on any of our thought-provoking episodes on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our community of growth seekers. Together, let's explore new perspectives, embrace challenges, and embark on a journey of personal transformation.
Yeah. So what is your, biggest lesson learned that you've found in our professional journey, or your professional journey, I would say?
Yeah. So in IT, lesson learned, oh man, that's a good one. What is a good lesson learned? I would say that it doesn't matter how much time you have with something, as in, doesn't matter if you've done it for 10 years, there's always stuff to learn. And just because you've only done it for 2 years doesn't mean the person that has done it for 10 years knows more than you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like the concept of, if I look at a resume and this person has been a sysad for system administrator for 10 years, that does not mean the person that has only been a system administrator for 2 years knows less than the person that has 10 years, because it's not the amount of time, it's the quality of time.
Yeah.
Because like you said, if you have your own lab, technically I put in more hours than that person. So if I spend 40 hours at work, say half of that actually goes towards work, so 20 hours of a week, and I'm actually doing my system administrator or system engineering job, and then I spend another 2, maybe 4 hours after work at my own house doing stuff, I'm already way ahead of everyone else if no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And you can apply that to every industry, but I think for IT specifically, that's what it really clicked for me when I met a lot of people that had X amount of years, and it really didn't translate to the execution of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, quick interruption. I just wanted to say from both Craig and I, thank you for taking the time to listen to us and our random rambling about life. If you have enjoyed this and think even one other person will enjoy this, then please share out this link, whether you found us on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform. It costs no money and little time, but would have a great positive impact for our podcast and brand. All right, enough with the shameless plug. Let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah. So is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners about professional or anything else business-wise?
Business, professional-wise, I think, my biggest lesson is, figure out who you are, do some sort of self-assessment.
Yeah.
Right? Like look up how to self-assess, whether that's, your personality, whether, you're doing a DISC assessment, whether that's, professional goals, just self-assess. Because for me, it helped me a lot knowing who I am to figure out where I wanted to go. Right? I think a lot of people, they see a lot of things, they have like that shiny object syndrome where it's like, hey, I see this guy with a Bugatti, I see this guy with a huge mansion, I see these people with like a lot of other people, and I like that stuff, but they don't actually peel back the onion enough to see, where were they beforehand? How did they get there? What was their personality like? Does that fit my personality?
Yeah.
Right? Is that the type of money I want? Is that the type of fame I want? Like, what is all this stuff like that actually goes into it? But they just see like the one thing and they want it immediately, and they don't necessarily know what all that work is, and if that actually, like I said, aligns with their values.
Yeah. That's yeah. Thank you. That was a good one right there. Yeah. Well, finding out that I'm not a high S like you was pretty, which is pretty funny. But then I had a balance between the What was it? Well, no, S and I, right? It was a balance between So then, but I had no C at all.
Yeah. So, and for people that don't know what that is, so D is the very dominant people. So like, think of like your common leaders where they expect certain results, whatever it is. I is your, interpersonal people. They talk, they like to talk it up with people. So S's are your high supportive people, and C's are your very concise and process oriented people. So for Craig's specific DISC assessment, he's a high D, meaning that he wants specific results, and if he wants to get results, he may not know everything that goes into it, but he will start something and at least try to get it done. Where he's also like a mid-S, mid-I, where he'd also like, chopping it up with people, and he also likes really helping people and being supportive to people. So that's kind of what builds his personality, where he's a low C, to where it's good and bad, to where like he doesn't need a process for him to do it, right? He'll just get it done. The only bad thing is that he may not communicate the process to someone else, so no one else can probably. So like it kind of makes Craig almost like an army of one, or like a team of one, because he can do it, maybe can't communicate it to the other people that can do it, but it's still of value. So there's definitely different roles and different places for people that have those personalities. Like, so for like high C type people are like your lawyers, your a lot of people that do like checklists and stuff like that, because they know how to communicate especially in a written language, like certain steps on how to get to certain places.
Yeah. And like we said before on another podcast, it's always good to know who you are, because then you know how you process information.
Yeah.
And you can learn how to adjust that as needed.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think another thing is like when you know who you are, you know who you want to interact with, right? So when you don't know who you are, you kind of, get upset when someone doesn't understand you, when you feel someone doesn't understand you.
Yeah.
But it's because you don't know who you are. You don't necessarily know who they are. You don't know how to properly communicate what you're trying to do with them, right? So if you're like, you say you have a spouse or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you're like, well, why can't they just clean the dishes this specific way, right? Well, it's probably because the way they process information and they process that task, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Whereas someone might just throw it in the dishwasher, hit go, and it's done, right? Whereas someone else, they have to hand wash some stuff they might put in the dishwasher, whatever it is. But it's because the way you're processing the information and that task could be totally different than that other person.
Yeah.
Right. And then you see other people like, man, why doesn't Craig know how to do this? Because I know how to do this. And it's because you don't know how to communicate, or that's not how he takes information. So you need to adjust it. Right. So like, and the best analogy that I had from it is that if you have a car or you have a key for your car and a key for your house, can you open your house with the key for your car? Right? Probably not.
Yeah, no.
Right? Maybe in the future.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. We're getting there.
But probably not. Right? So you really need to kind of peel back. Like, well, I'm coming to this person trying to open their door, right? But with the wrong key. How do I swap my key? How do I change that key to kind of help them understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's you can say the same thing multiple times and it probably wouldn't get through to them.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, if you didn't know, mine and Craig's mission is to bridge the gap between generations by empowering, exposing, and educating others about financial literacy, new perspectives, and life goals. We can't do that without reaching more ear holes. So if you enjoy this content, then please share this to at least one other person to help us expand our brand and their minds.
All right, so yeah, we're down to our this week, but I guess I don't know where this one falls because it's a URL, but it's to a book though, right?
Yeah. So this one is to a course. I would say this is more like This Week in Business.
Yeah.
Just because, so last weekend when we weren't recording, we had other stuff going on, but I attended a webinar through a guy named Alex Ramosi. For those that don't know who he is, just look him up. He's like everywhere now. But him and his wife Layla, they run a company called acquisition.com where they do minority stake in companies and they help improve those companies. And he does a lot of stuff for free. So, and one of his mission is to make business education available to everyone. So he came out with a book. It's called $100 Million Leads, which helps people generate leads for their businesses. He released a course with it as well on his website, and we'll put the website down in the comments or in our description. And this course is really good. I've gone through like half of it already, and it's absolutely wonderful. I've also been listening to the book while I work out. So it's, to me, a lot of value, especially for literally being $0. Yeah. So I think everyone should check it out. And yeah, especially if you're looking to build a business, even if you're not, I think it's a lot of information, good information that kind of helps, because it has like some stuff on content creation that people can kind of use if that's what they're trying to do. But yeah, I think people should take it out.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm glad you shared that. All right, you want to close us out?
Yeah, man. All right, thank you everyone for listening to Troubleshooting Life Podcast. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week.